If you want to learn 10x faster, you need to focus like a laser, connect what you learn to emotion and purpose, lock it in with spaced repetition, and then teach it to someone else. Master these 3 steps and you'll master anything. To truly learn anything faster, the first and most critical step is to focus like a laser. In today's world, we are drowning in distractions, notifications, social media, constant pings and updates fighting for our attention. Your brain is like a supercomputer, but if you're constantly interrupting its process, you'll never unlock its full power. When you give something your full, undivided attention, you signal to your mind that this is important, and what the brain believes is important, it retains. Most people try to multitask when learning, watching videos while scrolling, listening to audiobooks while replying to messages. But the truth is, multitasking isn't real learning. It's just task switching, and it kills your retention. Laser focus starts with intention. Before you begin any learning session, ask yourself, why am I learning this? What do I want to get out of it? This primes your brain to concentrate. Next, eliminate all external noise. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Put your phone in another room if needed. Create an environment where your mind can dive deep without interruption. Then set a timer for a focus session, say 25 or 50 minutes. This is often referred to as the Pomodoro technique, and it's incredibly effective for learning. During this time, commit fully. Don't just skim, engage deeply. Take notes, ask questions, and visualize what you're learning. The deeper your focus, the more your brain engages its prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for complex thinking and decision-making. When this part of your brain is activated without distraction, your ability to absorb and understand new information skyrockets. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it gets sharper the more you use it. Build the muscle of deep concentration, and you'll unlock a learning speed you didn't even know you had. Because in the end, the power to learn faster starts with the power to be fully present. When it comes to learning faster, emotion and purpose are 2 of the most powerful accelerators you can tap into. The human brain doesn't remember dry information, it remembers meaning. It remembers moments that stir something inside you, that connect to your goals, your identity, or your vision for your life. So if you're trying to learn something and it feels disconnected or irrelevant, your attention will be weak. But the moment you link that knowledge to something that matters to you, everything changes. Think back to a time you learned something incredibly fast. Chances are it was because you wanted it. You had a reason. Maybe it was tied to a goal, maybe it was emotionally charged, or maybe it was simply something you loved. That's not a coincidence. Emotion fuels memory. When you engage emotionally with what you're learning, you activate stronger neural pathways, making it easier for your brain to recall the information later. Purpose adds the second layer. When you understand the why behind what you're learning, your brain treats it as important data. Instead of just processing words or facts, it starts organizing that information as part of a bigger mission. Purpose puts you in alignment. You're not just learning randomly, you're learning because it helps you become the person you want to be, or take one step closer to the life you want to live. Before diving into any new topic, ask yourself, why does this matter to me? How will this help me grow? That internal dialogue sparks emotion, and that emotion supercharges your focus, commitment, and retention. You begin to see every bit of information as a tool, not just data. Whether it's learning a new skill, reading a book, or watching a course, tie it to your dreams, your drive, your identity. That's how you make it stick. Learning becomes less of a chore and more of a calling. That's the real secret when learning has a heartbeat. Your mind listens. Repetition is one of the most overlooked, but absolutely essential components of learning anything faster. The brain doesn't retain information after hearing or seeing it just once. In fact, most of what you read, watch, or hear is forgotten within hours, unless it's reinforced. This is where the concept of spaced repetition becomes a game changer. When you review something multiple times, especially over increasing intervals of time, your brain begins to recognize it as important and moves it from short-term to long-term memory. It's not about cramming information, it is about creating lasting neural connections. You've likely heard the phrase, "a practice makes perfect," but the reality is a practice makes permanent. The more you repeat something with focus and intent, the more your brain wires itself to remember it automatically. Think about how you learned to ride a bike or type on a keyboard. You didn't master it after one attempt. You did it repeatedly, building muscle memory and automaticity. Learning faster works the same way. Whether it's a new language, a skill, or important life principles, repetition is the bridge between information and mastery. To truly benefit from repetition, it needs to be active, not passive. Don't just reread notes or rewatch a video. Quiz yourself, teach it to someone else, or apply the concept in a real situation. This kind of active recall strengthens your understanding and exposes the gaps in your knowledge so you can reinforce them more effectively. Reviewing material right before you sleep also helps, as the brain consolidates memories during rest. Repetition also builds confidence. When you review and internalize a concept multiple times, you begin to feel certain about it. And certainty eliminates hesitation. In a world where speed matters, confidence built through repetition gives you an edge. You won't second-guess yourself. You'll act, respond, and execute more effectively because the knowledge has become part of you. So if you truly want to learn faster, don't just move forward, loop back, review, repeat, and reinforce. That's how true learning sticks. Feedback is the compass that guides rapid learning. Without it, you're moving blindly, unsure whether your efforts are leading you closer to mastery or deeper into misunderstanding. Most people avoid feedback because it can feel uncomfortable, it challenges your ego and exposes your gaps. But if you're truly committed to learning faster and better, feedback must become your ally, not your enemy. It shows you exactly where you stand, what's working, and where you need to adjust. In other words, it shortens the learning curve by eliminating guesswork. Think about any high-performer athletes, entrepreneurs, speakers. They don't rely on just their own perspective. They seek coaches, mentors, peers, or even metrics to reflect back how they're doing. That's how progress accelerates. When you incorporate immediate and specific feedback into your learning process, you get clarity. You don't waste time repeating the same mistakes or drifting in the wrong direction. You make targeted adjustments, and that's what sharpens skill and deepens understanding at lightning speed. But feedback doesn't always have to come from other people. It can come from results. If you're applying what you learn, whether it's in your career, a conversation, or a creative project, the outcomes you produce will speak volumes. Did it work? Did it fail? Why? That reflection is a form of feedback. Journaling your progress, tracking performance, or simply pausing to evaluate after every attempt gives you a loop of correction and improvement that most people ignore. So here's the truth. Learning anything faster isn't about talent, luck, or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about using the right strategy with relentless consistency. When you get clear on your outcome, when you repeat with purpose, when you simplify your focus, and when you seek and apply feedback with humility and hunger, you create a formula that accelerates mastery. These are not just techniques. They are principles that reshape how your brain works and how your life transforms. Most people go through life reacting, dabbling, and hoping. But the few who decide to master learning, who make it a daily ritual, who apply what they learn in real time, those are the ones who build momentum, confidence, and results. That's the edge. That's the power you now have access to. The path to a better career, stronger relationships, deeper purpose, and lifelong achievement starts with how you learn. Not just what you learn, but how fast you learn it, how deeply you retain it, and how consistently you act on it. So, today, decide. Don't let another hour slip by. Use these steps. Apply them with intensity. Whether it's mastering a skill, changing your mindset, or building a new habit, these tools work if you work them. Because when you train your mind, when you master your learning, you're not just acquiring knowledge, you're unlocking your potential. And that's when everything begins to change. Let this be your moment to rise, to grow, and to become unstoppable. The power is within you. Now it's time to unleash it.